So first of all, I just want to thank you for your willingness to be here right now and to chat with us. You do not owe us that. You deserve all the time to grieve. But I just wonder if there's anything you want to share about her or how you've been coping since you learned the news.
You bet. I, like so many millions of people around the world right now, and especially in the United States, are just devastated by the loss of Naomi Judd. And I just personally want to extend my deepest sympathies to her husband,
Yeah.
to Ashley, to Winona, and all of her fans and family around the United States, because it's just such a tragic loss. And the way in which she died from mental health disease makes it even more impactful to me personally as a mental health professional. And it just brings up the point that we have got to look at our, not only ourselves, but our friends and our families and the loved ones around us, and reach out and let people know that we are here.
When we were talking a minute ago, you said that there was a story about Naomi, just so we can celebrate her for a second, that you wanted to share with us about how you met her.
Yeah, so this is typical Naomi Judd. So I was an undergraduate student. I was actually a junior in college, undergraduate, and I thought I was Mr. Big Business person, and I opened a very small oyster bar in the town in which I was in college. And so Huey Lewis was performing at the stadium, and I wanted Huey Lewis to come to the oyster bar with his band and eat after they performed. And so I went to the back of the Coliseum as this little undergraduate student, and the concert ended, and all of a sudden Huey Lewis walked out, and Naomi and Winona Judd, who were not performing, were standing there with him. And I said, "Hey, my name is James Flowers, and I would love for you to come to my oyster bar. You guys have got to be starving." And Naomi Judd looked at me and she said, "I love oysters. Where is this? Of course we'll go." And so I sat down with Naomi and Winona Judd, took them to this little tiny restaurant in which I had opened as a college student, and they stayed till 3 o'clock in the morning. And at one point, Naomi Judd and I were sitting at the bar in my restaurant, and we were talking about mental health and the importance of mental health and what it means to college students and people who are struggling in college and performers. And it was just probably an hour-long discussion one-on-one with her.
And I mean, first of all, what a gift of a memory to have. And I'm so grateful that you get to have that. And you talk about how you and Naomi had conversations about mental health. She was very open. She's done interviews. She's talked about her struggles. And so I think yeah, I think what struck me the most about this that I would want to talk to you about is, like, I would hope that would be something that would help people. And I think that people who struggle with mental health would say, like, would be worried about, like, wow, she seemed to be doing so well. So what can people take from this, and what does it teach us about how we need to stay persistent about our mental health?
Absolutely. That is such a good point. And every time that you and I do an interview together, it's so impressed with your own skill set when it comes to mental health and recognizing issues like this and issues that need to be brought up and discussed. So thank you for doing this. And, she was very open about her struggles with depression, with anxiety, with grief, with early childhood trauma and sexual trauma, all of which she had been working on for years. And, I have to say that diligence is sometimes not enough. Sometimes going to therapy, seeing a psychiatrist or a single psychiatrist or a single therapist is not enough. And what I really believe is the answer here, and I see this more and more and more, people who struggle, people who even may have addiction that relapse over and over again and that need help. There is something called a comprehensive diagnostic evaluation. And I really believe that when you do a full life total evaluation with a multidisciplinary team of professionals, being psychiatry, clinical psychology, looking at our brain and brain mapping, a full trauma assessment, a lifestyle assessment, a lifestyle needs assessment, a wellness assessment, history and physical, and so many other parts of that 360 degrees of our life, that if you're able to do that We take our cars in for oil changes, we cut our lawn, we clean our homes, we clean our offices at the office, we straighten up before we go home at the end of the day. We have got to continue to work on this every single day.
And I'm positive, I don't have to tell you this, but for people who don't know, it is obviously Mental Health Awareness Month. And as you also know, one of the goals is to make it okay to talk about mental health struggles, which we've been doing. And I would say as a generation, young people are very good at doing. But I wonder how you can support a friend or family member who comes to you and says they're struggling, because you don't want to do the wrong thing. You don't want to say the wrong thing. You don't want to underreact. You don't want to overreact. What is the safest response to somebody that you care about sharing that with you?
I'll tell you the safest response ever is, I care for you and I love you and I'm here for you and I'm here to listen. And there is nothing that you can tell me that is going to change my mind. Unconditional love and unconditional active listening is the key to helping your friends and your family, your coworkers, or anybody that's suffering from mental health.
I want to thank you so much for coming here and sharing a very difficult day for us. I know it's inspiring to me to push through the tough days watching you do it. So thank you for coming here and being a good example.
Thank you so much. It's so good to see you guys, and thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. Guys, if you or someone you know is struggling with suicidal thoughts, you can always call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK or visit them online at suicidepreventionlifeline.com. We'll be right back.